Hi everyone, this is Dr. Jimenez and welcome to week 3 of Introduction to Educational Technology. We're about, in 2 weeks, your project 1 is due. So I wanted to create this video to give you a little bit of insights, to explain the project, but more importantly, to highlight a couple of suggestions and best practices. Sometime during week 3, along with Professor LaHoulier, will be announcing I'm going to call it a open hours, like an office hours type of thing, where you can, jump in and ask questions if needed. But I thought I would provide you with this video to give you some insights in case you have any questions about Project 1. So to start, when we look at our class syllabus, which is right in front of you, current syllabus has us now at week 3, where we're learning about the ISTE standards. And part of the reason why this is also an important week is because Project 1 is based on the ISTE standards. So as you can see here, Project 1 is due right here on week 5, and it's due at the end of the week on Sunday by 11:59 p.m. So you have the entire week to work on the project. Now, a couple things that you should note is that in the syllabus, it states very specifically that you will submit your presentation on Blackboard, which we'll talk about the presentation in a moment. But the fact that you're going to post it in 2 places. There's going to be a week 5 content folder where you will submit your assignment. Now, this may be in the form of a link, which is perfectly fine, especially because of the technologies that we're going to use. More than likely what you will be providing Professor LaHoulier and I are links. So you're going to submit it into the content folder for week 5 when that's available. And you're also going to post it onto the discussion board as well. I'd like for the rest of the class to see what you put together. It's a great opportunity to not only get feedback from your peers and colleagues, but also to see some new tools in action. So before I jump into the actual assignment, just as a reminder, week 5 is when Project 1 is due. It's due on Sunday, February 24th at 11:59 p.m. EST. So please do what you can to submit it before the deadline. So let's actually go into the project and talk a little bit about what the project is actually all about. Now, basically, this project is twofold. One, it's going to help you better understand the ISTE standard, because we're going to do a deep dive on them. And more importantly, it's going to also give you an opportunity to work with one of potentially new technologies that you may have not worked with before. When it comes to presentations, most people are familiar with PowerPoint and Prezis. You may have used both of those, you may have used one of those. What we're going to do is to use some other ones to create presentations, because there are other ways of presenting information that do not involve a PowerPoint or a Prezi presentation. So if you look at the Project 1 descriptor, first thing it says is you're going to pick one of the ISTE standards. Just one, and you're going to basically review it, talk about it, tell us what the standards say. You're going to then create your presentation using one of the following technologies that we're suggesting here. In this case, Flipgrid, Book Creator, or Microsoft Sway. Now, you can choose any one of these that you want. I'm going to leave that up to you. Flipgrid, many of you are familiar with Flipgrid already since we did it as part of week 1. Book Creator allows you to create exactly what you think it does. It creates a digital book online where you can create your content. You can put pictures, you can put text. It's a great way to present information to students. Also, Microsoft Sway is a kind of, think of it as an online digital presentation tool. It's caught on probably a little bit more recently in recent years. It's been around for at least 2-3 years as a tool in the Microsoft suite, but not many people have used it in the past. But what it does is it allows you to create these import these beautiful images and then put text to it. It's a great way to tell presentations, and it's also a good opportunity for you to get familiar with some different technologies outside of PowerPoint and Prezi. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to basically create a presentation that will explain your selected standard. Now, to make sure that we're all on the same page, during week 3, you're going to learn about the ISTE standards. And one of the link resources that you'll be pointed to is to the ISTE standards page, which brings you to ISTE standards for students. Now, there are different ISTE standards that are out there for teachers, for coaches, but the ones that we're going to focus on for week 3 and ultimately for your project 1 will be the ISTE standards for students. And when you scroll down, you get 7 different standards that you can choose from. I want you to just choose one of those standards, just one. And for example, let's say you decided to choose digital citizenship or becoming a digital citizen. When you click on it, this is the standard, digital citizen. Here's what it is, and here are the substandards underneath. This is going to be the majority or a good bunch of the content that you're going to be putting into your presentation. Also keep in mind that you're going to have some hover links here that will give you some additional details about, for example, if let's say you decided to choose digital citizen, what does it mean and how does this apply to your classroom and so forth. So you're just going to pick from one of these 7 and that will be your project. You're going to create your presentation. I'm going to go back to the project document. So again, you're going to use one of these tools to explain the selected standard. Explain what are the elements of the standard, which you'll be able to do from the ISTE page. We also have some details about the ISTE standards in your textbook as well. So this week's readings will also include some information about the ISTE standards. So you have some resources to work from, as well as the video, the primer video on ISTE standards that we provided you as well. So what are you going to do? You're going to create your presentation using one of the tools provided. You're going to explain what the standard is, give some explanations based on the definitions provided, and explain why do you think this standard is important to you as an educational technologist / instructor / learner. The reason why I'm putting this distinction is because I know not all of you are teachers and not all of you have a classroom. So from your perspective, why are these standards important? And it'll be a great way to kind of help you synthesize what you've learned about the ISTE standards. And you're basically going to create your presentation. If you're using Sway or Book Creator, you should have a cover page as well as a reference page. That could just be what resources you're using, such as the Roblier and Hughes textbook or the ISTE website, for example, or any of the resources that you'd like to use. If you're going to use a Flipgrid video, you're going to need to be succinct because I just want you to create a 5-minute video, no more, on the ISTE standards. So you keep it nice, short, and sweet. As for for those of you that are creating either a Flipgrid, or excuse me, a Microsoft Sway or Book Creator presentation, which you can find at bookcreator.com, as well as if you do a search for Microsoft Sway, it'll come up and you can actually log in if you have an existing Microsoft account, or Microsoft Office account, I should say. But the point of the matter is, you keep it to under 10 slides maximum, no more. Again, explain the standards. Why do you think the standard is important to you? And create your presentation and share it with us. So, a couple things I'm going to be looking for. Make sure that from a rubric perspective, you cover the details about the standard. You have the information at your fingertips, so please make sure to explain what the standards are, right? Make sure that from a format perspective, it's organized. Explain what the standard is. Tell us the details about it, and tell us why, it's important to you. Make sure that you're including it. Make sure it's legible. Also, from a grammar and APA perspective, please make sure that if you're citing, you're citing appropriately. Please check your grammar. Make sure you have periods where there's periods. Make sure you have grammar checks. You can use Grammarly as a tool to help you, if that helps. But again, just keep in mind that the content, although it plays the biggest portion of the total 20 points that you could earn, making sure that you have the format and you have the grammar and APA included, those points add up as well. So that's really the short version of it when it comes to this presentation. I'm happy to talk further, and so is Professor LeHoulier. We're happy to talk further with you if needed. But for the most part, starting week 3, look at the standards. We're going to review them collectively. And more importantly, start thinking about which standard do you want to talk about. I would also use this opportunity in week 3 to start putting together at least, an outline of what your presentation is going to be. So this way you have your 10 slides. Or if you're going to do a Flipgrid video, you can time it so that you can pretty much get to your content in 5 minutes. Now with Flipgrid, clearly, Flipgrid you can use it on a PC, you can use it on your phone. Make sure you have your talking points put together because you're not going to have slides, right? You're not going to have slides because you can't upload slides into Flipgrid. What I will do is I will set up a Flipgrid project on my account, and I will make it available to each and every single one of you for those of you that do decide to choose Flipgrid. But as a best practice, I would recommend that you take a look at Flipgrid, take a look at Book Creator, take a look at Microsoft Sway, see which one works for you, see which one is going to be best for you, the time you have, etc. So with that, if you have any questions, email both myself and Professor LeHoulier, and we will gladly answer your questions. Thanks again, everyone, and email us if you have any questions regarding Project 1.